In this video, we're going to cover something called a constructor. Now, when we create an object, here in this case, in the example we've been working on, we're creating this My Gradebook object from the Gradebook class. And we saw this funny looking thing that says equal new, and then we have the name of the class again with open close parentheses. Actually, this class with the open close parentheses is calling something called a constructor for the gradebook class. Now, C# provides a constructor, a default constructor automatically for us for every class that you create. It takes no parameters, and again, all it's doing in this case when it creates it is creating any variables that are any instance variables for that particular object somewhere out in memory. Now, we can create our own constructors that will initialize our object to some predefined state. So first of all, I'm going to create another auto-implemented property here for this class called instructor name. And instead of passing that in to the display message method, we'll just get that information straight from here. I'll just do a copy paste real quick. And since now display message has no parameters, we can't pass it any, so we'll take that out and we'll go here and we'll do my gradebook dot instructor name equals Mr. Jones. Okay, so now we're going to create our own constructor for this class. Now, a constructor is just a method with no type of return type that is the same name as the class. So we're going to do create a constructor, and we're actually going to pass this constructor some information that it can go ahead and initialize our two properties for. So we're going to do public, and again, we don't specify even void here as a return type. We just don't specify anything. Again, the name of our method here is the same name as the class, which is gradebook. Open close parentheses, again, that makes it a method. And okay. Now I said we're going to pass 2 bits of information into it. Again, when we create parameters for methods, we have to specify a type and then a name. And we'll say CName for course name, and then we're passing a second parameter, so I'm going to put a comma, and then I have to specify the type for the second parameter, and that will be IName for instructor name. In fact, let's go ahead and type it out. So those 2 pieces of information will be passed to us, and we want to set the properties to whatever those 2 pieces of information are. So we want all that to happen here in our constructor. So we're going to say course name, the property, equals course name, the variable that was passed into it. And here we want instructor name, the property, equal to instructor name, the variable that was passed in. So now we've got an error over here in our constructor because we've defined our own constructor So the default constructor is no longer valid. And the reason we're getting an error here is it's expecting two parameters to be passed to it. So we've got to give it, let's see, let's do SUD110 is our first parameter, and then our second one wants instructor name. We'll say Mrs. Smith. So I'm just going to copy this console.write just to show you what everything contains before the constructor and what it will contain after we change the properties to it. So now if I run this, our first line says the name of the course is SGD110. That's because we created in the constructor, when we created the object, called the course SGD110. This course is taught by Mrs. Smith, and we passed Mrs. Smith in as the instructor name. Then we changed course name to SGD113 and instructor name to Mr. Jones. Then we called display message again. And again, since we changed that information, we have SGD113, and this course is taught by Mr. Jones.